Sea of Thieves is currently the most pre-ordered game on PlayStation, which is completely insane. First off, welcome to the game, and I can't wait to hopefully run into some of you after April 30th when the game actually comes out for you. And also I wanted to make this video to give you all some major tips to help you survive on the seas. If you're buying this game on PS5, chances are you're probably brand new to the game, and you might be worried about starting the game late compared to all of the PC and Xbox players, and being at a disadvantage. But don't worry, you'll be happy to know that everyone always has access to the same equipment and items regardless of what level they are, and how much time they've spent playing the game. Everything you can unlock from playing the game, or buy from the Pirate Emporium, is purely cosmetic, either for your pirate or your ship. So don't worry, you are on the same playing field as everyone else. As you start to get into the gameplay, you'll learn that regardless of what you're doing, whether you're grinding rep and gold, whether you're doing tall tales, or doing some PvP in Hourglass, your number one priority is always not sinking. I'll be honest, when you're first starting out, it can be a little bit daunting to know that you can lose everything that you've worked for if just a tiny bit too much water gets into your ship. But as you play the game more and get more experience, you'll learn a lot more about what your limits are when it comes to the water flooding into your ship, like how much you need to bucket and repair in order to not take a trip to the bottom of the ocean. This is basically the number one unspoken rule of the entire game. Since there are really no rules of engagement in the beautiful game of Sea of Thieves, players are always looking for a creative and clever way to grab some loot from other players. Why, you ask? Well, because it can be a lot faster than doing all of the work to get the loot yourself. But don't get me wrong, it is very fun and exciting. It's very common in this game for players to deceive, trick, betray, and steal their way to an easy payday. But I mean, that's just part of the pirate experience. The best thing that you can do is try to be aware of what's happening around you, and try to catch on to a sneaky player's plans early so that you can defend your treasure to the best of your ability. Remember, your treasure can be stolen by anyone, up until the point where you sell it off to an NPC for gold. Everything in this game is dangerous, and I mean it. When there's lots of danger, it gets fun. And there's a certain amount of skill and experience that it takes to avoid taking damage from all the dangerous things around Sea of Thieves. But just like players, everything else is dangerous and will cause damage to you. If you're in the water for too long, sharks or sirens will spawn and try to attack you. If you're under the water for too long, drowning is a threat. If you're on an island, skeletons, phantoms, and these things will come and get you. If you're just sailing around the seas on your ship, there's always a chance of krakens and skeleton ships spawning on you. Don't get me wrong, there can be a lot of chill downtime in this game, but you never know when danger will show up. Safer Seas is a fairly new game mode that acts as an alternative to High Seas, where you can explore the seas with no other players in the entire server except for the ones in your own crew. This can be a great way for new players to take some time and learn how the game works before going into the wild and having to face off against other players. This mode does have some limitations, like only being able to level up to certain levels and only gaining about 30% of the normal gold amount when you sell your treasure. But it can still be amazing for honing your skills and figuring out more about how the game works. One thing that's different in Sea of Thieves from just about any other first-person shooter game is that there are no critical hits in the game. The damage that your weapon deals is the amount of damage that you will always do to whatever you hit, regardless of where you hit them. The foot, the hand, the head, anywhere. And this carries over to every single thing in the game, not just players. It's a little strange at first, especially if you're coming over from pretty much any other shooter, but you'll get used to it pretty fast. Sea of Thieves is a forever expanding sandbox game that you should play however you think is the best way to play. For some reason that I could not explain if I tried, there are a lot of people that play this game that will tell you that you're playing the game wrong if you're not playing the way that they like it. Usually it's the most toxic players that do this kind of stuff, but just ignore them. There's really no one good way to play Sea of Thieves, especially as they add more and more weapons and tools to the game as it receives more updates. Just have fun and do your thing.